Hi, I'm Andy the Palm Springs linguist, and today I drove from Palm Springs all the way to Long Beach, California, where I'm going to explore Aquarium of the Pacific, and I'm going to dive into minimal pairs. When you look at a pair of fish of the same species, they often look identical, but if you look more closely at them, there is always a difference. In linguistics, a minimal pair is two words or phrases with only one difference in sound between them, and this difference in sound changes the meaning of the word or phrase. Minimal pairs are a valuable tool in linguistics to determine whether a specific sound has the capability of changing the meaning of an utterance. One type of minimal pair is when you have two words, but one sound in the word is substituted for another, such as fish and fin. The one phoneme different can be at the beginning of the word, such as joking, choking. It can be in the middle of the words, such as squid, squad. Or it can be at the end of the words, such as horse, whores. A minimal pair can also be two words or phrases that are identical, except that one of the words has a single additional sound which changes the meaning. For example, I like dogs as compared to I like dog. I like dogs means that you like dogs as an animal. Maybe you're a pet lover. And I like dog means that you like dogs as a meat. Since adding this one sound, z, changes the meaning of the phrase, a minimal pair is created. And what a difference in meaning one sound can make. However, having one sound different doesn't automatically create a minimal pair. Toward and towards is not a minimal pair since there is no difference in meaning between the two words. Minimal pairs is a comparison of the sounds in two words, so spelling is irrelevant. The words in a minimal pair can be spelled exactly the same. Bass and bass is a minimal pair despite being spelled the same because one of the sounds is different. Colonel and colonel are not a minimal pair because they have no difference in pronunciation, despite having very different spellings. Check and check are also not a minimal pair. Colonel and colonel, as well as check and check, are homophones, not minimal pairs. Minimal pairs can vary by dialect. In my variety of English, caught and caught is not a minimal pair. To me, they are homophones because they sound exactly the same. In my variety of English, you must rely on context to know whether caught is referring to a bed or the past tense of catching. However, listen to a speaker of New York City English pronounce caught and caught differently.
Caught.
For her, they are not homophones at all, but rather a minimal pair since the vowel is different in each word,
Caught.
creating a difference in meaning. There has been a merger of two sounds in many, but not all, English-speaking dialects, in which the vowel sounds in caught and caught have become the same. My dialect is part of the caught-caught merger. New York City English is not. People who are learning English as an additional language may not yet recognize the difference between words in a minimal pair. Sounds exist on a continuum, and different languages divide up the continuum of sounds differently. For example, the languages Japanese and Korean do not differentiate between the sounds of ul and So it would not be surprising for a Japanese or Korean speaker who's learning English to not hear the difference between election and erection. Similarly, Spanish does not recognize the sounds of I and I as separate phonemes. In Spanish, I and I are considered the same sound, so it is not uncommon for a native Spanish speaker to not hear the difference between sheet and shit, or beach and bitch. By not distinguishing these two sounds, a Spanish speaker attempting English may say something that sounds rude when really their intention was quite innocent. Of course, native English speakers learning Spanish have similar challenges when learning Spanish. English has the phoneme a diphthong, meaning two vowels joined together to create what seems like one sound. But English does not have the phoneme which is a monophthong, meaning it is a single vowel sound that does not change in quality. So it can be challenging to distinguish between the Spanish minimal pair and means comb. But if you change the vowel from a to then it becomes which means penis. So English speakers, be careful with this one. Minimal pairs can be two phrases with one differing sound, and that sound can be a sound that borders one of the words. Notice the difference between great ape and great tape. Do you hear the difference? The sounds represented by the letter T are the only sounds that differ between these two phrases. The phoneme represented by the letter T has different allophones, or variations. In other words, the letter T is pronounced in different ways depending on where it is located and which sounds it is next to. In great ape, the T represents an alveolar flap, which is a super quick tap of your tongue on the roof of your mouth. In great tape, the T represents an aspirated alveolar stop, which just means it's a T sound with an extra puff of air. Since the T sound found in great ape never occurs at the beginning of a word, and the aspirated T sound found in great tape only occurs at the beginning of a syllable, then our minds can distinguish a very good ape from tape that happens to be gray. Here's a really subtle one. Can you hear the difference between catch it and cat shit? In catch it, the letters TCH represent the affricate sound ch. This is the sound we usually associate with the letters CH. The affricate sound ch is the t sound, immediately followed by the sh sound, pronounced almost as if they were a single sound. In cat shit, the sounds t and sh are separated into two separate syllables. Minimal pairs are two utterances that have only one difference between them, and that difference changes the meaning of the word. However, the difference doesn't have to be an entirely different sound. In some languages, the differences can be the tone of the vowel. A tone is the pitch or change in pitch with which a vowel is pronounced. For example, here is the word fish pronounced with different tones. Fish, fish. In English, tone can communicate your attitude about the word, such as surprise or doubt, but tone does not change the meaning of the word into a completely different word in English. So, fish and fish are not minimal pairs in English. However, tone does contrast words in many languages, such as Vietnamese, Punjabi, Navajo, Thai, and Cantonese, among many others. Here is an example of a minimal pair based on tone from Mandarin.
Ma, ma.
The first means mother, and the second means horse. Minimal pairs can also be based on consonant or vowel length. In most varieties of English, there are no minimal pairs based on phoneme length. For example, whether we say fish or fish, there is no difference in meaning. They both simply mean fish. However, in many languages, consonant or vowel length does contrast words. For example, here is a minimal pair in Thai.
How. How.
These two words are a minimal pair, with the only difference being the length of the vowel.
How.
Means inner, and
How.
means rice. Minimal pairs can also be based on which syllable is stressed. Here are some minimal pairs where when the first syllable is stressed, it is a noun, and when the last syllable is stressed, it is a verb. Other than the stress, the sounds are exactly the same. Export, a noun. Export, a verb. Intrigue, a noun. Intrigue, a verb. Impact, a noun. Impact, a verb. Here is a minimal pair of noun phrases based on stress. Big bird, big bird. Big Bird is the name of a Sesame Street character, and Big Bird could be any bird that happens to be big. Here is a near minimal pair. Ice cream, ice cream. Ice cream is a dessert, and ice cream means that I'm yelling. Here's an example in Spanish of a minimal pair based on stress. Bebe and bebé. Bebe means he drinks, and bebé means baby. So, el bebé means the baby drinks. Here is one last minimal pair for the road. Subscribe and subscribed. If you haven't already, click the subscribe button to see the other word in this minimal pair. Oh, and you get the added benefit of gaining access to past and future episodes of the Palm Springs Linguists. It's completely free, and it keeps you in the loop for future episodes. I hope you enjoyed Aquarium of the Pacific as much as I did, and that you gained some insight into minimal pairs. Until next time, I'm Andy the Palm Springs Linguist, and I'm going to hit the road back to Palm Springs. I've got tennis in the morning.